How's it going, everyone? Zach the Pokemon Master here, and today I like to do a good and a bad review discussion of Pokemon the series XY overall, plus the third season XYZ. Now, there's gonna be some good and some bad, and yeah, without all the way, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, at the later the video, at the end of it, join Discord down below in the description, as I'll be saying, joining you here at the beginning of the video and at the end. So without all the way, let's begin. So, the good. Now, the good is basically the first half of XY Season 1 and a bit of XY Season 2, which is the middle half. Now, the first 3 episodes of XY Season 2, it was really not that good. It was kind of really slow pacing to episode 4, where Pokeballs and the Frog are here. Now, of course, there's some funny moments, and we also got some other episodes. In Season 1, we got the Mega Evolution Act 1, and I think that's basically the only thing that thing's gonna get from the good. So, let's talk about what other things. Some of the battles. Now, the battles, they were alright in the series overall, not perfect. They're not top tier, like Diamond and Pearl, Best Wishes, or Sun and Moon, even Journeys by far. Now, XY does have better battles than the OG and some of Advanced Generation, but I digress. Some of the XY battles are really not that good. But some gym battles are good, mainly Ash versus Viola, Ash versus Grant, Ash versus Karina, Ash versus Ramos, and Ash versus Valerie. I think those are the first 5 gym battles actually pretty good in the series. While Ash versus Clement is decent, Ash versus Olympia and Wolfric are not that good. Because those 3, it was kind of boring to watch. Also, it was too predictable the outcome, and yeah. Now, some of the filler, oh boy, I know not that many people talk about the filler in the series, but XY, the filler was just boring. Now, that doesn't mean there's some good filler. Like, you got the Cave of Mirrors, you got the Resident Ninja Wisdom, and I think Seeking Shelter for the Soul. I really don't remember what the episode title's called, but it has something with Esper. And you got those kind of great fillers, and breaking titles at the Chateau. Even though the episode itself looks boring, it was an alright filler episode. But you got some downright bad fillers that comes later in the series. Now, of course, we can't go without the movies, and I'm talking about the second movie. The second movie is kind of the movie that we got into most, Hoopa and the Rings of Destiny, plus its side plot, which is the prologue to the movie. Now, the prologue, it was pretty good, and I think is my favorite prologue so far under the Mewtwo prologue, which I think that's the only prologue that had. I think it was the only first Pokemon movie prologue other than Mewtwo. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it was under the Mewtwo. And that's basically about the movie, plus the movie itself. Now, of course, it doesn't get that many good ratings, but the only reason why this movie gets saving grace, because it shows off my favorite legendaries, from Reshiram and Zekrom to Lugia and Ho-Oh to Arceus, Regigigas, even Zygarde. Well, Zygarde's not in the movie. But yeah, guys know what I'm talking about. Plus, Hoopa, one of my favorite Kalos legendaries. Even though I hate it overall, still one of my favorite Kalos legendaries. You gotta learn how to hate, so yeah. Now, as for the summer camp arc, it was a good, decent 4-episode arc. Could have done better. I mean, sure, Team Rocket and Chefs, they were okay, but them just messing with the gang, it really wasn't needed. Draining the life energy out of Charmander, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur. That's where we're going to talk about Team Rocket later in the bad. Now, of course, there's some other good aspects, like Sawyer coming into the series, and Alon. Astrid, And I think that's basically it for the rivals. I wouldn't really consider Ash the rival because she loses to Ash at one of the episodes later on in the series, and oh boy, they really can't. What were the writers doing? They really can't write good rivals in XY sometimes. Well, there was some good writing in the series, and I really enjoy some good writings, and I think basically that's what makes season 1 and Middle Half of season 2 XY good. They have some good writing, but the only thing, they just fall flat either towards the end, beginning, or throughout a whole season. But no matter what, I seen XY season 1 and season 2. I seen those seasons. They should have been where XY could have been at its peak, or that's what I like to say, because XY season 1 was the peak of XY. Now, like I said, I digress by some things. Like I said, there's some good filler, but we're done talking about filler. But let's talk about more of the gym battles, from Ash versus Valerie to Ash versus Viola to Ash versus Valerie. Now, Ash versus Viola, I really liked the first match, and to be honest, and to be fair, it was actually a pretty great match. Now, I know some of you guys are going to be coming attacking me, saying Ash has never lost that battle, but there's really a good reason. He can learn from his mistakes. Now, of course, the only reason why I had a problem with the rematch is because of one certain character, and her fans are going to come attack me, and I don't want to say the name, but I'll say it later. Okay, but yeah, even though the rematch was okay, but it was also too predictable. Plus, Viola figured out his strategies by the get-go, so that wraps up Ash versus Viola. Now, Ash versus Grant. That is one of the greater battles I have seen. The Draco Meteor climb invented by Pikachu. Now, of course, Ash used Alter Eve as Pokemon, which is great. But I would have preferred more of a 2v2. But honestly, who cares? It's writing. It's XY. The writers sometimes can't write well. You know, there's also some other things that I wouldn't remember. Now, another thing from this gym battle, if I remember correctly, Ash had to climb a rock climb through it to get to the top, and that was actually not that bad to watch. I really enjoyed it. Now, of course, we can't talk about the god tier amazing battle that is Ash versus Corina. Now, I could say that the rematch was not that great as well. I can agree with that, but it has an amazing animation. Now, it can't top the first battle, which I really enjoyed, and plus it gives some great callback to Ash versus Cameron. And what happened to Pikachu's push versus Cameron's Lucario, or did they just save it for this series? Either way, it was still an amazing battle because it kind of mirrors Ash versus Cameron, Ash versus Maylene too. Now, of course, we all know Ash technically didn't beat Maylene, but as per the Sinnoh review. Now, as for the Pokemon team, Hawlucha, the first strategy did not work. Who dances on the battlefield? Unless you're using Swords Dance and Dragon Dance, then what were you thinking? Because Hawlucha does not have either of those two moves. And plus, he was trying to copy from Tiana, which didn't work. Yeah, Ash failed. But other than that, let's talk about Fletchinder. I think Fletchinder was one of the other shining focus, but I really don't remember it during the battle. Like, there's some battles most of the battles I can't remember from XY. But I could say that Fletchinder, it could have gotten Thunder Armor. Now, like I said, Pikachu was just a mirror of Ash's Pikachu versus Cameron's Lucario, so yeah. Let's move on to Ash versus Ramos. And what I really enjoy about this one, Ash was really impatient, which I really like this side of his character. Really shows what Ash really is about. Now, again, he uses Hawlucha and Fletchinder. But at least Fletchinder got a bit more shine to it. Lucha also did the same thing, but the real star was Frogatier, which I used cut to figure out where his moves were. Which, if I remember, is a great callback to to Oshawott when he was trying to use Water Gun while having his eyes closed. Which basically, you can tell the comparison from these two. Now, from Ramos to Valerie, the Hawlucha Beyblade, that was really cool. And the Trick Room as well. The Trick Room to lowering Ash's speed to make some of Valerie's Pokemon faster. Also the introduction to Sawyer looking up to Ash. And the great battle that we were all going to be promised from Ash versus Valerie. And again, my top 3 favorite battles from the series. Boy, if I had to talk about something horrifying, it is the bad. And should I wrap up the good first? Another great Pokemon at Ash is Noibat, which belongs to Noivern. And Noivern, you guys know, is my favorite and all-time second favorite from Kalos, under each slash. Now, of course, there's one side plot I want to say for the bad, and we'll talk about that later. But, yeah, let's move on to the bad. So, with the bad, XY had many faults. And I like to start off with the character of Ashetchum. If you guys don't remember from my last video from ranking, like I said, this version of Ashetchum's like a boring shonen protagonist, from Kirito from Sword Art Online to Kiba from Naruto. He's just really boring to watch. And I know people say this is his better character, but it's really not. This is not the Ashetchum that I kind of grew up with. This is like a different Ashetchum that I didn't really enjoy. And it takes away his fun personality. What made him fun in Unova, he had his fun personality, and he was serious sometimes. And that's what makes him great. He also has the same personality in Sun and Moon, Journeys, Diamond and Pearl, and Advanced Generation. But you take that away from him in XY and XYZ. And I know people call that character development, but that is not development. That's like takeaway. Take away something special from Ash, and that's mostly his goofy personality. And the only thing he kept was this oblivious part, so yeah. That's enough about Ashetchum, but let's talk about his team. Oh boy, and you guys say this is his best team, but you guys got beat by Sun and Moon by a long shot, so let's talk about his XY team. Now, from the beginning, it doesn't look that bad. He has some great coverage, but it looks good on paper. When you put it into the anime, you got the worst team ever, because it has no type coverage. It is lacking diversity. Why? If I had to replace 2 Pokemon, I would replace Hawlucha and Gudra for other Pokemon like Skidoo, who evolves into Go-Go, to Honedge, Clawsworth, Dunsparce, Spritzy. You have a Phantom. You have a list of Kalos Pokemon that you can do well. Well, at least they got Noivern still. But like I said, there were some Rob captures, like Dunsparce, Vanillite, Phantom. I mean, the shiny one. Ash could have got his second shiny. He also could have had a Trevant, but I guess they decided not to. But another problem with this is Greninja, and again, like the other fans, they're going to come attack me. I'm not saying Greninja's bad, but it's not my favorite. He is very low on the bottom on the Pokemon list for me. And it mostly comes from the Ash Greninja storyline, which, to be fair, it wasn't really needed in this series. And another problem with it is how it was handled towards the end of the series, but that's for later. Now, for the storyline, again, on paper, it looks good, but it takes up most of the season. We never had this problem before until now with Lucario, but we never had this problem. Because Sceptile, Infernape, Crocodile never done this. Even Charizard has never done this. And this what makes it a problem. Because this Pokemon, Greninja, takes up too much screen time. And that's basically it. Like, it takes more screen time away. Because Talonflame finishes its development. Noibat barely gets development. Lucha also barely gets any development. Pikachu has already been through its development. In Gudra, that thing should have never been captured. Or, to be fair, it should have never been brought back. It should have just stayed in the wetlands where it belongs. But that, again, it makes Ash really weak with this team. And if you guys keep covering why Greninja's so great with the Ash Greninja form, you're just going to keep repeating the same thing over and over again. Because, again, you're basically taking away something that should have never happened in the anime. Because Charizard never got a different form up until now. Sceptile didn't get a new form up till now. Infernape didn't get a new form. Crocodile didn't get a new form. Pignite didn't. None of the other Pokemon gets a new form. But out of all the Pokemon that gets a combination form or a bond phenomenon, is Greninja. Back in the day, I was a Greninja fan, but when Sun Moon came around, I just stopped loving Greninja because I couldn't love it anymore. And if you guys were to ask myself, back in 2015, who I ranked as my #1 Pokemon of all time, I would have said Greninja. Because then too, I was an XY fan. But why did I stop loving XY? I saw the major problems when Sun and Moon Season 2 was rolling around. And another problem was, like I said, some of the gym battles. Now, I won't talk bad about Clement's gym battle, because it was an okay battle, so I won't count it. But Clement as a character, after his gym battle, or basically at XYZ, he was just there. He didn't do anything. But it's not his fault. It's just basically the writer's fault. And as for his sister, Bonnie, gosh, if Bonnie can get a Pokemon, why can't Max get a Pokemon? If Lana's sisters get a Pokemon, why can't Max get a Pokemon? If Kiawe's little sister could get a Pokemon, why can't Max get a Pokemon? If Parker could take care of Yamper and Journeys, why can't Max get a Pokemon? Because guess what? Max is too young to have a Pokemon, but everyone else can take care or have a Pokemon? Well, what logic does that make? That is bad writing. Honestly, this is why I can't take XY like this. They make poor decision writings. And that's what makes some series like Advanced Generation forgettable. Because XY overshadows everything else. Because that's everyone's favorite series. But not everyone in the community likes Kalos. And people have to agree with that. And there are some toxic fans that have tried to force people to enjoy XY, but others don't want to enjoy that. And that makes another problem. Because a certain character... Okay, now we can talk about the character name. Let's take a character like Serena. On paper, again, she's like... On paper, she's a good character. But in actual reality, she really isn't a good character. And now Fall comes in to what her goal is. And we didn't find out what her goal is until like the mid-40s. Honestly, it was already bad as it was. Now, of course, her mirror self, at least her alternate form or her alternate personality, has something going for her. She could be a strong trainer. But where does that leave all the other, where does that leave the main her? she was just there. And of course, and I get it that her character development after she lost the showcase, but we'll talk about that later. I just can't. Let's talk about her team. Oh yeah, let me finish it off. More shipping is too toxic. That is one thing. That thing is too toxic. Okay, can we talk about her team? Good. Okay, now Fennekin. I kind of like Fennekin embracing at the beginning, but ever since it evolved and throughout XY and XYZ, it didn't really do anything. It has no battle experience. And that's where also falls as well. When it challenged Ash and Pikachu towards the end, it lost the battle. That's the problem. It is not strong enough to take on Ash and Pikachu. Another thing, Pancham. Pancham. That should have been Team Rocket Capture sometimes, now that I think about it. But who could blame them? You can just always blame the writers, if you know what I mean. Now, Eevee, I understand. But it should have waited a bit longer to evolve into a Sylveon. I would have just said it should have just evolved during the Master Class. But they just done it just for sake. No, I'm done talking about her team. Let's just move over. Okay. Dumb captures, and there's only one. And that goes to Clement and Chespin. And if you guys say that these two are a perfect pair, then there's something wrong with you. These two are not a perfect pair as trainer and Pokemon. Because we can all agree that Ash the god Chespin. And that's true facts. And of course, and that's basically it because it's like a gag Pokemon. And that's all it's going for. It's not a strong Pokemon. It doesn't battle a lot. It loses. That's like the definition of Torkoal. Alright, we're done talking about Clement. Let's move on. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, the filler. The filler sucks in this season. Like overall, throughout most of XY, the filler is just pointless. And I can talk about two of the major ones. Let's talk about the Chestnut episode and the Binacle episode, whatever that hand thing is called. Those two are the worst filler we have gotten in this series. It's a third contender. It's that Quilladin episode. And I also count that Litleo because I want to actually catch one for a good while. There's so much bad filler in XY to count. And the only two that basically stand out is the Chestnut Desert episode and the Unlocking Some Respect episode. What was the point of those two? And like I said, for the good, there is some good filler like the Cave of Mirrors and the rest of Ninja Wisdom, but you just can't make filler pointless. Let's look at some filler. Let's look at one Pokemon series that has the greatest filler. That is Pokemon Sun and Moon and Journeys. By far, these two have the greatest filler we have gotten. Now, I get it. We all know Sun and Moon has some disappointing filler, and so does Journeys, but they do have amazing filler. You got the baseball filler, the pancake filler. You got so many amazing filler in Sun and Moon. But what kind of amazing filler do you have in XY? Well, you got one good filler, Noibat taking part of the race. That's a great filler, and you can make a meme out of that episode. But I am just done. I am done with the filler topic. Let's talk about the other two. Oh wait, nope. Because I forgot what they are, and I don't want to rewatch those. Let's talk about the other two movies, shall we? Now we got Diancie and the Cocoon of Destruction, and Volcania and Mechanical Marvel. Now, when I first saw these two trailers, I thought these two were good, but we were lied, bamboozled by the first movie trailer. Because I thought, that one particular scene, I wish I had it in the movie, and that's Ash, beat up on the ground, or Mega Gardevoir versus Mega Scizor. That would have been a great place to have a battle. But the movie itself wasn't good. And then I'm done talking about Dynasty. Let's talk about Volcanion. And it's just, it was not a good movie. It was not. The plot was confusing. None of it made any sense. And this is what pointed to the direction of the alternate movies. It was XY's fault that the movies failed. Oh boy. I think I'm done talking about the movies. Let's move over to Team Rocket, and oh boy. Team Rocket was just annoying throughout XY and XYZ. Because I won't count Meowth and Wobbuffet because they're part of the main group. But when they're talking about the Pokemon itself, Inkay is the only Pokemon that did something. While Gourgeist, Gourgeist is just not a good Pokemon. Not saying it's a bad Pokemon, I'm just saying Jessie could have had different Pokemon to have on a roster. That's the problem. Jessie, like James and Meowth didn't really have anything going for them. And that was what puts them lower as my favorite Team Rocket trio out of the series on their journeys. The only thing Jessie was doing was showcase. And that's the only thing. If she wins one, I think it was off screen or something, but I don't remember. But everything else about it, it's just bad writing. That's basically Team Rocket. They weren't really handled that well. And how they ended with them, telling them that they stopped Team Flare by themselves, that was just not that good. And speaking of Team Flare, I'm going to get even more hate from this. Also, there's some unnecessary excuses, but I don't want to go in depth in those. So let's talk about the Team Flare arc. Now, of course, a whole bunch of people are going to try to come at me, telling me this is the greatest arc in Pokemon history, but that's not the case, okay? I did not really enjoy the build-up, and itself, like, sure, it was good that the game was split up, but some of the side, like the rivals, they didn't really do much. That's what cost us some points. Also, Ash, there's no continuity, which also loses some points. Another problem is, like, Ash's team could get one-shotted by a Mega Gyarados, but everyone else can't? What sense does that make? Because Gudra, Noivern, and Hawlucha, they get one-shotted, but the first Pokemon Ash had in Kalos doesn't get one-shotted? Yeah, you telling me that's good writing right there? I'd like you to come up with an episode like this. Come up with an XY episode. Because I can come up with a greater one. Also, the league. Oh my god, do I hate this league. Do I want to talk about it? I'm going to have to. This league was rushed. And you can tell from it from the first episode from Trevor versus Alon. Because it wasn't focused on Mega Charizard X and Mega Charizard Y. No. It was just focused on Ash and this one dude who couldn't enter the league. Well, sorry you didn't have all 8 gym badges to enter, but you still would have gotten out in the first place. Also, another thing. Wasted rivals. Now, of course, I can understand Tierno why he had to lose. But against Sawyer, I expected Tierno to lose to Ash. And really, Ash should have never made it to the finals. Because, like in the games, I count this series to have a broken EXP share. That's basically it. Oh yeah, Ash vs. Alon, that's a great battle. The only problem is Greninja. Ash vs. Sawyer, another great battle. But there's only 2 problems. Gudra and Greninja. They don't go hand in hand. if you take those two out, then you have an amazing battle. Because I would've, and also, if people say if Greninja won the league for Ash, it's gonna disrespect what Ash and Pikachu had at the beginning. Because they were supposed to win the league together. Now, Sun and Moon, I can understand because I don't count Ash versus Gladion the true final battle. I count Ash versus Kukui as the final battle. But I digress. I think I'm done talking about the league. So let's talk about the ending. And of course, the final few episodes. Oh boy. Oh. Try to write Team Neo Rocket Neo Plasma, huh? Let's think about it. Not that good of an episode. Was that a Pokemon? The two Pokemon that literally protects the Earth can't see any more vines, so you leave Greninja there? Great writing! Yeah, that's great writing right there. What's that? Gudra has to go back to the wetlands? Again. Great writing. What's that? Alon gave away his Megastone? Again, great writing. Where does that go? Where does that leave up? And has it been like a whole... Let me ask you guys this. Do you guys still think Kalos would have been destroyed even though Ash made a return there? I still would believe it could have been destroyed because there were still vines by the time Ash left Kalos. Yeah. So if he came back, there should have been like some few damaged buildings there. Alright then. Alright, let's talk about the gang going their separate ways. Oh wait, another problem. Where was Professor Oak throughout the whole series? Because the only time we see him is on the last episode. We don't even hear his voice once. That tells me that they don't care for Gen 1. Or, no, let me take it back. They don't care about Professor Oak. Because you can't make good writing in the series. No, but there is one episode that's Clement and Silent meeting for the first time. And that's one of my favorite episodes throughout the series, from X, Y, and Z from that season, and that's the only episode that I enjoy. Either way, XY is not a bad series, but it has most of its faults, and there was some writing that wasn't really necessary. Am I calling the series trash? No, I'm just saying there could have been better things. Anyway, I still deem it at the bottom of all the Pokemon series. But yeah, I think that's basically it. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Join the Discord below. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video.